Hey everybody, welcome. It's been some time. For those of you new here, you can probably see that I haven't uploaded in a while. So, welcome back, everybody. I've been very busy with a move halfway across the world, starting a new job, and just getting life under control. There's been a lot of changes to Flight Simulator since I've been gone. It's taken me a while to get set up again, and yeah, it's kind of hard to decide where do you want to start, right? Well, I saw the Taog's Hangar release the Dauphin, and I figured, you know what? That's a great starting point for us today. Now, I will say up front that this helicopter costs $50, 45 euros. It's That's a lot of money. It's also a lot of helicopter, but I prefer to be honest. It's a lot of money. So let's take a quick look. And there are four different search and rescue variants. Uh, Four is quite a lot. There's different models to it. They also have a myriad of paint jobs for them, which is kind of cool. I download this to my hard drive, so it should load fairly quickly. Um, and so you can pick kind of, your favorite country. There are also two utility versions, and there are also two passenger versions, of which one is a regular passenger version, and the other is a VIP version. And these should all be usable in different parts of career mode. So search and rescue, cargo, and passenger transport, and VIP transport. I did pick up a couple of career missions, and I generally do fly VIP transport or cargo, so this fits in pretty well with that. Um, we are just going to go ahead and take the yellow helicopter. Now, next up is the choice of where do you want to start? Well, World Update 22 was released, and in case you haven't seen it yet, World Update 22 includes US national parks. Not all of them, just some of them. The parks that are included are Acadia, Arches, Crater Lake, the Everglades, the Dry Tortugas, the Smokies, Olympic, Zion, Bryce Canyon, Grand Canyon, and the Grand Teton National Park. Uh, there's also a high quality version of Jackson Hole. If your name is Jackson, we're not talking about your hole specifically, but it's understandable with the National Parks update that Jackson Hole would be included as an airport. Um, I am excited for this update. Uh, I will say I'm a little disappointed that neither Sequoia nor Yosemite were added. Sequoia is personally my favorite national park for personal reasons. Um, Even if it's not yours, it should be. But I figure we can start at the Grand Canyon because it's always pretty. And I figure we should just start here on one of the ramps so that we can at least walk around and take a look at the Dauphin. Now, I will say that while I was gone, I did see that there were a bunch of new local legends as well. Um, I saw the Fokker F-27, the CSC Boomerang, the Fokker F7 was free. Um, I mean, that's kind of a niche um, airplane. I did intend to also purchase the Fokker F-27. I'm holding off for a little while just to get comfortable, get familiar again, and I did just spend money on this helicopter, so I try not to spend it all in one place, so to speak. But the Fokker F-27 is one that I am very excited about. There's supposed to be a good amount of performance improvements. Now, I will admit I put together this PC from scrap parts, so however good the performance is however good it is. So, without further ado, let's take a look at this thing. I will say when you start out, I took a quick look at it earlier in the day, so I've had a chance to at least get it started. For those of you that remember the Stranger Things event, I think it was a pretty successful collaboration, actually. I thought it was a pretty good idea, pretty cool, pretty nifty. It came with a free helicopter. It was a Huey from the same folks that made this one, and I had some of their other helicopters before. They made some for Flight Simulator 2020 as well. They were poorly compatible, the 2021s, with 2024. So the one that came out with Stranger Things was the first that had multiple paint jobs and was way more compatible. I feel like that was the motivation they needed because this model is fantastic. Go ahead and take the covers off and we'll just walk around it. You gotta do the door test. God, that man is creepy. Woman. And I don't care. We're closing this door again, but the doors open and close. This is not important to everyone, but I personally like opening and closing doors. You can even open these little ones, and it works. It's cool. The model itself, I mean, I think it's plenty detailed. I think it looks really good. And when I say plenty detailed, right, I'm not counting rivets compared to, like, I'm not counting how many screws there are compared to an actual helicopter, but you can see that there are screws there. When you look at this little light bulb on the tail, that looks fantastic. Actually, I don't think you can see my cursor, but I'm waving the cursor around the around that little light bulb there. So I do genuinely think it is a very pretty model. I did rage quit earlier when I started playing with it because of kind of a self-inflicted issue. The self-inflicted issue was that my landing gear toggle caused a conflict with the helicopter's landing gear. Let's remove the safety pin. Landing gear toggle. If you hear an annoying clicking sound while you're flying and you can't figure it out, it's because the landing gear up and down controls seem to create a collision specifically in this model where it is expecting a toggle. That's just a little upfront thing. I might be the only person in the world who runs into it. I don't know. Before I start the engine, I'll just quickly go over. It does come with a nifty little iPad for the iPad kids among us. It sits right there above that blue notebook. You have a couple options here. Your life map goes without saying. I presume most people pop out their EFB, but it's still useful if you want to use it. Like, you do you. You have your documentation. If you really want to get the flight manual, the proper emergency procedures. This is also pretty nifty, the key bindings. So that's just there. That's the least of your concerns when it comes to this thing. You do have access to your autopilot. If you want to work in your realism, you do have your weight and balance that you can move around here. And goodness gracious, we'll go back to the menu. You have a tow cart. I think this is probably useful for most people if you just want to tow it around instead of just wheeling yourself around. In your gameplay, you can have a few realism options that you can set yourself, which is pretty nice. This one, you can open all doors at once. I'll look around real quick. We're zoomed in. I know. Goodness gracious, get a job. All of the doors are open. Yep. It does in fact open all the doors. You click all close. It closes all of them. The outside noise goes away. Cool. This one is pretty nifty. You can change the exterior options that you have, and they change based off of which model you're flying. So you won't get all of these same options if you, for example, are in a passenger version. If I click off my passenger rescue or my rescue winch, you'll see earlier when we walked around, it was up here. You can see actually there's a, you see that? There's a little piece left over. There's a little piece floating in the sky there. Yeah. So yeah, you can turn that off if you were so inclined. And then your cockpit, it starts with the default GNS 530. Keep that in mind because you'll see on mine, I have the nice big touchscreen. Go iPad kids. That is the PMS 50. I believe it's like a $5 add-on, but just be aware that that might not be available to everybody. At the top right corner is the off button, and it goes back into the center dash where it belongs. In the meantime, we can go ahead and get the engine started, make sure the throttle is off. You do also have a second screen for those that are paying attention down here. Right there. And there. So if you only have the standard 530, you get both of the 530 screens in both of those locations. It's not like you don't get the second screen or anything. That would be mean. We'll go ahead and get it started up. Now, if you ever see like a weird camera movement or something that doesn't look right, it is because I am using chase plane. I love chase plane personally. I think it creates a more natural movement, but it's not for everyone. I just personally love it. I think it helps a lot. I think it creates that more natural movement. The only thing I don't like about chase plane is how close it is behind the helicopter or plane when you start it up. That is a personal problem and not theirs. So I think we have enough to throttle up. I'm just trying to be gentle, which is going about as well as you can tell. There we go. I probably should have waited on it for one more minute. But hey, we're flying. As you can tell, my gear is still out, and now I'm gonna do a left-hand, right-hand trick while I go here and flip the landing gear while I try not to crash. And now I move my hands back to where they belong, and the landing gear's up. Like I said, this is because the toggle gear up and down button that's on my hardware collides with the expected up and down gear. I'm saying that the wrong way around. It expects toggle gear and it collides with up and down gear. So that's just a quick note on that. So like I said, we're flying over Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon Village does look graphically better than I remember. I might have to go back and look at an old video, but I do see some ground clipping down below there. I mean, let's not pretend like that it's anything new. Generally, it looks prettier. Up next, we hit up the entrance to the park. I will say, once you get it going, this helicopter flies really easily. And I'm honestly astonished at the quality. Maybe I'm just misremembering, but I'm honestly astonished at the quality of the sim itself, because I am playing on a literal, and I do mean literal, garbage. But turns out garbage works pretty well. Yeah, this is a marketed improvement because I do remember the entrance being just really ugly. Having said that, we do have one thing to celebrate today. Happy 4th of July, but that's not the thing we're celebrating. We're actually celebrating that M Scenery has apparently been banned sometime last week. I read it, I saw it, I was like, cool. That's about time. When I was new to flight simulation, I also fell for M Scenery's tricks, especially I would say the inflated and or fake reviews that made it seem like it was worth getting. RIP to everyone who ever did buy from them. I share your pain. Please spend your money, you know, on items that are worth it from creators that actually build stuff. But if you celebrate the 4th of July, I guess also happy 4th of July. For any curious souls that are wondering what I'm flying with, I ended up getting a Turtle Beach Velocity 1 flight deck. I know they have new hardware coming out. The new HOTAS setup is pretty much the flight deck but with improvements. The thing is, I didn't want to wait for it. That was just a personal life decision, and I had a bunch of credit card points left over after traveling, and I used them to buy this. So it's basically free, so I can't complain too much, but I will complain about it. Wow, this area is actually drastically improved, because this area used to be really, really ugly before. Again, I will say, oh my goodness, look at that. Genuinely, this is an insane improvement. This looks so much better now. Let's take a quick look on the outside. Oh, yeah. I mean, come on, dude. Is it perfect? No. Does it look a ton better? Absolutely. Yeah, it does. That's that little train line where the daily train comes in. I don't know where in Arizona it takes off. I don't think it's... I want to say Flagstaff, but it's not Flagstaff. But there's a train that comes in here. Oop. That was me crashing because I wasn't paying attention. That's on my soul. I was too busy looking at the train tracks. But no, this looks so much better. Genuinely, I think it looks so much better. It looks, yeah. No, I mean, kudos. Credit where credit's due, man. This looks really good. So let's go look at the canyon itself. I remember it used to be really jagged and ugly. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it probably was also the computer I was playing on. But I mean, I'm gonna say it is a marketed improvement. Genuinely. I'm gonna try not to crash, which is really hard for me because, goodness, it's taken a while to get used to it again. So yeah, to continue my story, I did end up buying a Velocity 1 flight deck. I like it a lot, I'll say that, but I'm a little pissy about it. Like, I can't be too pissy about it because it was free, right? But out of the box, it came with a broken button and with a broken side panel. The side panel was easy to repair. The button required me to open up the flight stick itself, which I get, that's not for everyone to just take a screwdriver and just go open a new product, right? It's supposed to look good out of the box, but it didn't. And that was disappointing to have to fix that. But I did it anyways. But that's negative points for Turtle Beach, which sucks because I have defended their flight stick, which was my first ever flight stick. Like the Velocity, or the Flight Stick 1, or whatever it's called. The really cheap one. I've defended that one a ton in the past because it worked really well for me for quite a long time. I also just want to say that the Grand Canyon looks amazing right now. But this one was not so great. I also ended up buying a Velocity One yoke. And you know what I learned about myself? Is that I actually really don't care for flying with a yoke. I infinitely prefer a flight stick even on aircraft that fly with a yoke. That is a problem that I've created for myself. So I have a yoke that I basically don't use anymore. But I did do that and experiment with it. So hey, if you're in a market for a used Velocity One yoke, by all means, come pick it up in the middle of nowhere, halfway across the world. But again, whoever did the work here on the Grand Canyon, this looks amazing. I remember the lodge. I might need to open my EFB to see where it is, but let's gain some altitude and see if we can spot it. Don't yell at me, helicopter. I will say that the software that comes with the flight deck is really nice. And like I said, I did see Turtle Beach is going to have a new setup that they announced recently that looks interesting and affordable. So I know you're yelling at me. That may be worth looking into at some point. I also looked at cheaper options, but it's kind of hard. I don't want to buy Logitech. I have a long-running feud with Logitech after a keyboard broke and they refused to fix it or replace it. So I'm firmly anti-Logitech, which I know hamstrings me in the long run, but that's a Logitech problem, to be quite honest with you. If I remember, there's a lodge like on that ridge or to a ridge to the left. I think it was this one. I might have to look on the EFB. I'll need to land for that though, because flying and looking at maps, that's way too hard for me. I thought it was on this ridge right here. But yeah, honestly, once you kind of get a feel for it, this helicopter does fly really easily. It's very comfortable. I think it's detailed enough. Like, it looks fantastic. I love everything about it. I think for the average simmer, the average person playing this game, this is just perfect. It does raise the question, the $50 price tag. Oof. I'm not going to tell you how to spend your money. I'm already bad enough with mine. But I do think the $50 price tag is probably too high. I think the $50 price tag is actually genuinely too high. Yeah, we missed that lodge somewhere, I think. Let me, oh god. See, this is what I meant, the landing gear buttons collide, so I have to manually pop them out. Oh, right, but the airport is right in front of us, isn't it? Let's go there, and let's try not to crash into this wall that is looking right at us. Come on, just climb a little more. I might need to fly around, because let me first toggle the landing gear. And there we go. Alright, let's get some speed going. See, with chase plane you do kind of get that, you know, that head bobble going on. It kind of feels it too, like when you're flying now, like the head leans in, which is a more natural reaction than just staring straight ahead. Come on. There goes. There goes. There goes. There goes. It wasn't an issue at all. But again, the Grand Canyon looks absolutely stunning. This feels like a really good excuse to go explore all of the other national parks as well, because it's just cool as hell. God, is it hard to go over these sheer walls and to get enough lift going to actually make it over. But we do. Like, sure, we'll trim some trees along the way, but we make it. I think we're still a little bit facing northeast rather than north. We're doing good. I will say, it is a gorgeous helicopter. I love everything about it, honestly. Now we're veering off too far, but they'll be okay. We'll get there. I think once we're over this ridge, we can drop further down again. This is only a very short distance from there. Yeah, I will say though, for the curious soul that has never flown with a yoke before, it's fun. It's just not for me. And the one thing I will say, again, this is like big negative marks for Turtle Beach. The yoke itself wasn't fully tightened within its encasing. So you had like a little jiggle in it, right? I'm not talking about forwards, backwards, I'm talking about up, down, side to side. Like, just enough jiggle in it that you go, huh, that's not really comfortable, because anytime you made a turn or you pull up or down, you also get a slight up or down movement that you aren't asking for, or a side to side movement that you're not asking for, because it's not fully properly tightened within its plastic cover. And then, of course, plastic creaking, plastic noises. It's a lot of plastic. Like I said, if anyone's in Europe and wants it for free, I'll be happy to give it away, because I just don't use it. And I feel like, I'm sure there's people out there that would love to use it. It's just not for me. But now that I'm back to flying with, with just a flight stick, I'm so much happier with it. Most of the planes I fly have yokes, but I really don't see a reason why you couldn't fly those with a stick as well. I think this is the airport coming soon. It's like in this, not here, but a little further down in like a mud bed. I'm telling you, once you get a little bit comfortable with it, This helicopter flies really comfortably. It doesn't feel like we're going exceptionally fast either, because we're not. I'm gonna try to give it the beans a little bit. I mean, I will say you have to be careful, like you saw during takeoff, too much throttle and you just go woo in a little circle. If you get seasick, that's, you know, a problem for you. I think the sound design for the... I'm wearing headphones. I did bring my Audio-Technica headphones. For those unfamiliar with it, Audio-Technica makes, as far as I know, mostly record players and professional studio equipment. I bought an Audio-Technica record player because I have a vinyl collection. I love punk and rock, and both punk and rock vinyls just sound amazing. Then I also bought these headphones from them. They are wired, but they are fantastic. They are so good. The audio quality is so nice. So it might not translate in the video because I record at a slightly lower volume so that you can still hear my voice instead of just hearing the engine go raw, because you will. If I leave it at 100, you'll just hear the engine screaming in your face the whole time. See, now we're going pretty fast. We're at, what, 135-ish? That's pretty quick. But yeah, no, the sound design inside, it sounds like an actual helicopter. It's nice. I like it. Outside the same. Yeah, I've literally nothing to complain about. I like this thing. Apparently, this is the dirt bed that we're gonna call a landing strip. I'm gonna do again left hand, right hand, try not to crash, landing gear down, reset the camera. We're just gonna take some speed out of it very gently and lower ourselves without crashing this time. We've already crashed once. Strictly pilot error. But if only to prove to ourselves that we can indeed land this helicopter. I'm actually not making any promises, because it's been so long since I've flown a helicopter that I'm a little scared of crashing. Only a little bit, though. Okay. See, there's that really... If you're too harsh on the throttle, which I am right now, then it really screws with you. Ooh, it made a clunk sound. Yeah, I'm gonna have some fun with this thing. I really like it, honestly. In short summary, I'm glad that I'm back. I'm very excited to do more flying. I'm very excited to make more videos. I'm hoping that this Turtle Beach flight deck thing doesn't break. Time will tell. And I think the Dauphin is a fantastic helicopter. I think if you're looking for another helicopter, because there's not that much choice when it comes to really good helicopters that you can use in free flight, that you can use in career mode. If I had to compare this to, for example, the MH60 from Militech. No, Militech is from Cyberpunk, it's Miltech. Oh, there you go. The MH60 is the better helicopter, so if you can only spend your dollar once, then buy the MH60. If you love helicopters and you already have the MH60 and you're wondering if you should get this, because this is really good. I really love this. So that's gonna be it for me for today. But thank you for watching, and I hope to make more videos soon. See ya.